Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a great civil rights activist in the 1960s. His marches, speeches, boycotts, sit-ins, and other nonviolent protests became some most memorable moments in history. He made a career leading African Americans in their struggle for equality. He is most remembered for the many things he did to bring greater equality to America and ensure civil rights for all people, regardless of the color of their skin. When we think of Dr. King, we think of Rosa Parks and the Montgomery bus boycott. We all remember Rosa Parks. You know, the black seamstress got on the bus when she wouldn't give up her seat to the white gentleman. She was arrested. Dr. King and the Montgomery Improvement Association organized the bus boycott. This is just one of the examples of some of his many nonviolent protests. We remember the Selma March, where thousands stood on the steps of the Capitol in Montgomery demanding the right for votes, demanding the right to vote for blacks. When we think of Dr. King, we think of the first president of the Christian Leadership Conference, fighting for segregation. When we think of Dr. King, we think of nonviolent protests, sit-ins, boycotts, speeches, and marches. But what we most remember about Dr. King, what comes to our mind all the time when we think about Dr. Martin Luther King, what we'll tell our kids and our grandkids about, is the March on Washington and the infamous I Have a Dream speech. On August 27th, 1963, thousands traveled by road, rail, and air to Washington to march, pray, sing, and protest against discrimination. Televised to millions, the march provided dramatic moments, including delivering the most memorable, the Nobel Prize winning speech, I Have a Dream. This came as a message of hope to America. The I Have a Dream speech is recognized all over as one of the greatest speeches ever given. Dr. King stood on the stairs of the Lincoln Memorial demanding racial justice. His key message was that all people were created equal. But this wasn't the case back then in America. Blacks weren't free. But Dr. King felt it must be for the future. The speech called not only for the rights of African Americans, but for all people. Thousands gathered listening to the words, I have a dream that one day my 4 children will one day be judged not by the color of their skin, by the contents of their character. You see, much of the greatness of the speech was its context. The speech put the civil rights movement into minds and hearts of Americans and beyond. You see, the reason for the massive impact of the speech was due to the tense social mood at the time. When the blacks weren't free, and that the conditions at the time, it just made it more tensed. It gave black activists hope, a vision of hope. This is what the speech did. This is the accomplishments of the speech. It was a message of hope. It even made white people ashamed of their actions, and it just shook society to the core. This one speech, Dr. King influenced and informed generations of people about racial equality and fairness. I Have a Dream has been widely acclaimed as a historical masterpiece. Dr. King led many nonviolent protests in hopes to segregate America. His accomplishments were many and are part of history. When people remember the I Have a Dream speech, they recall King's message of hope and equality. Thank you.